Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's off of McDermott Road in Allen, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting that like button for this video, as well as subscribing to my channel with the notification bell on. If you like 1 hour plant shopping videos daily, this is definitely the channel for you. As you can see, it is a beautiful afternoon. The sun is out. It's extremely hot though in North Dallas, which is where I'm based at. But I wanted to go ahead and check out this Home Depot. This Lowe's is actually a Lowe's I typically have shopped in the past. I have dubbed this as one of the best Home Depots to go plant shopping, especially for the indoor tropical plants. They tend to have a full selection. They tend to keep their plants super healthy, and I just really like the service I receive as well. So we're gonna walk over here, and I know that I've been doing a lot of big box store plant shopping videos since I got back from the Philippines. I took a vacation there about 2.5 weeks ago, and I ended up going to a couple of big box stores to start filming some brand new content. And I realized that a lot of big box stores, specifically Walmart, have been downsizing their plants. So I've noticed that Lowe's and Home Depot still maintain a pretty good selection. You can see that they still have some lantana here, and I've mentioned this in a lot of my videos, but I really love lantana. For instance, it's a flowering shrub that you can use as a ground cover. It is drought tolerant, and it's really one that can take full sun. Here we have some pentas flowers, or what you call cluster flowers. Really like the look of that as well. And then we also have some portulaca right here. Those also take full sun. So when it comes to outdoor plants, and I'm featuring some at the very beginning of this plant shopping video, don't worry, I will show you guys all of the indoor tropical plants because I know a lot of you guys like those house plants, but I also love gardening, landscaping, anything plant related, and that's the reason why I also feature some of these outdoor plants. You can see there's a mixed planter by Proven Winners. There are a bunch of coleus plants, although they look a little bit dehydrated, and that's the challenge when it comes to growing plants in the summertime, especially in very hot climates like Texas. 100+ degree weather is not fun at all, and I'm actually concerned that I will be receiving an Indonesian import of plants. It's supposed to come here on tomorrow, on Tuesday, August 6th. So I'm hoping that these plants do not melt. They are coming from a very far place. So hopefully we will get some good plants. But you can see here we've got some vinca flowers, and all of these vinca flowers are very heat tolerant, full sun. It's another plant that for a Texas hot climate, and this is only $7.98, is one I would recommend for that climate. You know, my grow zone is 8B, so depending on your grow zone, it really depends on what kind of plants you can grow outdoors. Now, in terms of tropical plants or indoor house plants, you know, it depends on whether you have more of a tropical climate. You know, we talk about plant care. Plant care to me is more of how much can you emulate the natural environment. So we're going to see what kind of indoor tropical plants that we have. Again, this is another one of my favorite Home Depots just because they tend to just have many different plants to pick from. And you can see here, Costa Farms has this like self-watering planter combination of plants. So you can see we've got a mixed planter of golden pothos, a palm, and this is for $24.97. And we also have I believe a syngonium, and then we can see right over here we have a Croton gold dust, some type of palm again as a combination planter. And what's interesting is, oh, and they even have a snow white waffle plant for $17.98 in a self-watering planter. The thing about these combination planters of plants, like you have a Croton, you have a palm, those take a lot of light, but then you also have a snow white plant. That one doesn't really want to take full sun or light, so it doesn't really you know, make sense to me. Now this planter right over here for $17.98. So we've got a syngonium white butterfly. We also have a Dracaena marginata. So I would say Dracaena marginata is a little bit low light tolerant. Now the syngonium needs bright indirect light. So this combination of plants for this planter works okay. And then the next one, if I'm going to pull up another one, actually, I'm going to look at these Birkins. So these Philodendron Birkins are another Costa Farms planter, $15.98. So they have this new textured planter. I would have preferred the planter to be more of a solid, just like smooth surface versus a textured one like this. This one is got the yellow. I do like the color yellow. And you can see that, you know, Philodendron Birkin, depending on the variegation, you can see some that are highly variegated. And then you can see this one has a kind of like a half moon. Philodendron Birkin is definitely a common philodendron that you can find now. These used to be a little bit more uncommon, a little bit more expensive. I do like the look of the Philodendron Birkin, especially just the striping of it. I think the more light you do give the Philodendron Birkin, the better variegation you'll get. I'm not 100% sure if it's just the initial genetics that really influence the variegation, but as you can see here, beautiful Philodendron Birkin again. This one has some pretty decent variegation, and that is, you know, for plant care tips, you know, with most philodendron, bright indirect light, higher humidity is best. Water when it is about 70% dry, and you should be good to go. And you can see here we've got a red marantha. Now with maranthas, those plants are a bit finicky, not as finicky as like a calathea. I do like the red marantha because it has a lot of leaf interest. This is another plant that if you were to compare that between a calathea, I would say maranthas are a little bit more tolerant with just some of the conditions not being perfect. And then over here for $15.98, another Costa Farms planter of Ficus lyrata, or a fiddle fig leaf tree. These actually become massive trees. They can get up to 20 to 30 feet in height, which I think is super impressive. I do like Ficus lyrata. Mine is a little bit slower growing, but it does get a lot of light. And that's the thing about growing them indoors. You want to provide them with a lot of light. Over here, we've got an Alocasia Tiny Dancer for $22.98. Now, Urban Jungle, I love Urban Jungle. I also like Live Trends. Those are two nurseries that really provide a lot of plants, especially at Lowe's, as well as Costa Farms, but definitely a fan of Urban Jungle. Usually Urban Jungle sources out to more like grocery stores. And then you can see over here another Urban Jungle plant. This one is a Philodendron Ring of Fire. And again, with Philodendron Ring of Fire, it used to be such an uncommon plant, but I do think that they've got so many numbers in production because of tissue culture that these are all of the batches that were in production for the last maybe 2 years. I have so many Philodendron Ring of Fire. I do like the look of Philodendron Ring of Fire. This one is specifically a nice full version because it's probably got about 4 or 5 plants in it. And then we have a Dieffenbachia here, also another Urban Jungle plant for $22.98. This one I think has maybe 2 to 3 plants. So plant foldies, and for those that are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Do you ever just go plant shopping and then look for how many plants are in one pot? I am definitely one of those shoppers because I feel like you get more of a bargain when you're able to find multiple plants. Like this one right here is another Philodendron Ring of Fire, and I believe this one may have 2 plants. So if you're paying $22.98 divided by 2, you'll get more of a bargain. Sometimes you'll find 3 or 4. So it's just really interesting. I've done that before where I've separated the plant, or I've repotted it to where, say I had like 3 Philodendron Ring of Fires, I'll put like a moss pole or some type of stake so it will grow up, and you'll have a more full version. Super easy to care for plant. Now that variegation is more influenced by the amount of light you provide. So you want to make sure that you're providing it with a lot of light, but you can see that there is still quite a bit of houseplants to choose from. I do find it exciting to be able to find all of these plants. This is really one of my favorite Lowe's to go shop at. Again, they keep pretty healthy plants. I know that the workers actually water their plants consistently. They kind of retire plants that are not as healthy, so that's a plus. Now this one is for $5.48, and this is an African violet. So the thing about African violets is some people will say that they're a hard to care for plant, but honestly, they are super easy to take care of. They do require some more bright indirect light. They do rebloom. They do need their soil to be a little bit more moist, so you don't really want their soil to dry out completely. I would recommend bottom watering the African violets, meaning you want to take a saucer, fill it up with water, stick the whole pot in it, and let it soak up. And then over here is for $13 actually and 98 cents. This is another Costa Farms Blooming Anthurium, and this is just a common red variety. You can see that this is a smaller version of that particular planter with the texture. I do like the look of this particular Anthurium. I do think this is one of the easiest Anthuriums to take care of. I do like the blooms. I prefer the color pink or white. The red ones are okay, but the one that I really want to get is the Anthurium shibori, which is basically a variegated pink and white version of the blooms. I think it's absolutely stunning. Now, if I just made a little bit more money, or if anybody wants to send a super sticker, a donation, a tip on my videos, that might help fund my plant budget. So feel free to do that. Not that you're obligated, but I do want to point it out there if you want to show support that way. But you can see that this plant right here is a plant that I actually grow hydroponically, which means I've taken the plant out, got rid of the soil, washed all the soil, and I just stuck it in a substrate, which is straight water with some plant nutrients, and it has been doing well for me. I thought I figured out the plant hack to be able to take care of calatheas in hydroponics, but even my calathea still ended up with spider mites. So that goes to show that certain plants may just not be meant for your growing environment indoors. And then over here we have some air plants, and I have yet to delve into air plants. This one is for $2.98 by Live Trends. And again, I absolutely love Live Trends planters. I think they come up with some really unique, stylish, modern planters. Like, I love the geometric shapes of these plants. Like this planter right here has an elephant with an air plant. Now with air plants, they basically keep themselves watered by the ambient moisture. What you can do is actually submerge the air plant in water for like a minute or two, pull it out and let it dry, and that's really it. This one is a really cool little, I think that's either a pig or a dog. Really cool planter. And also this the air plant. There's many different varieties of air plants. The thing about air plants is you do not want to overwater them as well, otherwise they will just rot away. But you can see really cool looking planter. I think this might actually be a dog. This is new to me, and that's the thing. I love Live Trends designs, Live Trends planters. So even in the summertime, they are starting to showcase some new planters, like this one right here for $11.98. Look at that. It looks like a doll. I really like the face, and you can see that the planter is super cute. This one is a Sansevieria of some sort, maybe a starfish type Sansevieria. I prefer the Sansevieria that has a thicker leaf like that versus the Sansevieria trifasciata. And then you can see right here we have some astronauts right over here with a air plant. So super cute. That one is for $7.98. And I'm going to call these propagation stations by Live Trend. So this is $12.98. And what this planter is right here, or this plant, is a Dracaena sandriana. So it's like a lucky bamboo. It's not really a bamboo. It's a Dracaena sandriana. These are meant to be supposedly it's good luck. I do like the modern vibe of the propagation station. I'm gonna call it that. And then you can see here, these are self-watering planters. So you can see that there's a wick, you fill it with water. And this one actually has the compact version of a ZZ plant. This is a Zenzi ZZ plant. Really like the look of that. That is actually a plant I want to add to my collection, just because I feel like it is one of those plants that, number one, are slow growing, but extremely low light tolerant. And that's really good for spaces that don't get as much light. Same thing with this particular Sansevieria right over here. It's actually one of my favorite ones because they are very easy to care for. You know, when you talk about easy to care for plants, those are plants that are drought tolerant and low light tolerant, both of which this plant actually has characteristics. Same thing with the Zenzi ZZ. And then you can see right over here, this is another braided Sansevieria, another plant that has those two characteristics: low light tolerant and drought tolerant. What I mean by low light tolerant, it means that it can survive in lower light conditions, although the growth of the actual plant will be substantially slower. So whenever they say they're low light tolerant, it doesn't mean that that plant has the best growing conditions. So you always want to strive for, you know, bright indirect light. I think that is the happy medium for most plants, and that's probably the best you'll get more of. Now this is super cool. This is a Style Selections living wall mat that you can put on a wall. I was actually tempted to buy this because when I was at another local plant nursery called Pita's Planters, they had a couple of pothos plants growing, and I want to get some trailing plants, maybe some orchids as well in one of these. So I might do some research, maybe look at Amazon to see if I can find one that's pretty cost effective. I am getting excited, plant foldies. I know I keep talking about, you know, doing a house plant tour, but this is one that I definitely will try to include when I finally do a house plant plant tour. If you want to see my plants both indoors and outdoors, I really need to see some engagement on the comment section. You know, that's one thing I really love. Send me some comments. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you want to see. I just want to know everything about you guys as far as my plant folding community, because I feel like our community is growing. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers, and it's because you guys have stuck alongside with me for the last you know, couple of months. You know, I've been doing this daily for about 6 months, almost half a year, and I'm so excited that we have gone this far in terms of growing the plant folding community. You can see here too that the thing about going big box store plant shopping is you will see plants and planters go on clearance, go on sale. Some of it's liquidated, so you can really find a lot of good sales. I always recommend going to a big box store when it comes to just finding plants that you can get for like 30 to 50% off. Sometimes you'll see new releases, and I believe we're going to see some really interesting live trends, planters, and just plants in general. So that's the reason why I wanted to go take you alongside with me. I do realize that a lot of my plant shopping videos pretty much follow the same format. I do want to try to diversify this, but for some reason, and plant foldies, let me know what it is, I end up getting more views and engagement when I just do my typical big box store plant shopping videos. But I do want to branch out a little bit and show you some of my plant care tips, more of my personal plants. I do have this new collaboration with Janae Simone and Stephen of I Lift Plants. We call ourselves the Cultivation Corner. So it's a trio of us. We'll be doing a podcast, and we're going to be having episodes on each of our channels. I also will have a collab video I'm releasing on my birthday, which is August 7th. So that's this Wednesday. I hope that a lot of plant foldies will join me as we premiere that collab video. It's going to be like a birthday celebration. Super excited about that as well, and I really hope I can share my 42nd birthday with the plant foldies. But as you can see, I picked up a lot of these planters. Some of them are on clearance. So this one is for $6.98. I actually like the yellow look of this planter. I like these quirky looking colors. I like pastel looking colors. I like matte finishes. I do wish that texture was more of a matte smooth, but you can see there are several planters at Home Depot, and depending on the season, you can get some really good bargains. But you can see here as I pan away, all of these lush, full Costa Farms plants. So if you are a fan of Costa Farms, please make sure, if you don't even like my video, at least hit the like button for Costa Farms, and just leave comments on like the Costa Farms plants you like. I love Costa Farms hanging basket. I do believe Costa Farms hanging baskets are pretty cost effective. Like this one right here is for $16.98. This is a black rabbit's foot fern. I really like the look of a black rabbit's foot fern because of the fuzzy aerial roots it has. Some people will say they look like tarantula legs. I would prefer to just think of it as more of a fuzzy rabbit's foot versus that. But you can see this is an interesting fern. I don't currently take care of fern because I feel like fern does need to have a certain level of humidity, and I don't really have that type of humidity in my home. I am in the process of redoing my plant room. Like I want to be all fancy like some of the other plant YouTubers where they have like plant room. So I'm getting that together again. I did neglect a lot of my plants. Some of them made it to plant heaven. I don't want to have a part 2 of that. I talked about live trends, new designs. Look at this. This is super cute. Another hanging basket by Live Trends. This one is an Epiprimnum Aria Marble Queen Pothos. And actually this Marble Queen Pothos has quite a bit of good variegation with this Pothos plant that I think everybody should add to their collection. You want to make sure that you're providing it with a lot of light, but I do love how cute this little planter is. It's another plant that everybody should have in their collection. Marble Queen is such a stunning plant, but if you don't give it enough light, it will become more of like a greenish tone and could potentially revert back to just a jade pothos. But love to see that. And then let me see the price. It's only for $16.98. And some people will say that that is a little bit pricey for a pothos plant, but you got to look at how stylish the planter is. Like look at this one right here. This is another Epiprimnum Aureum Golden Pothos. Love a golden pothos. This one has some pretty good variegation, and again with pothos plants you want to give it as much light as well, bright indirect light. In the wild, pothos plants are called epiphytes, where they want to attach themselves on like trees. They actually want to grow up versus trail down. That's really the natural habitat of a pothos plant, and when you let them grow on like a stake, a moss pole, or on a tree like a tropical country like the Philippines, the leaves will get larger and will fenestrate. For those that don't know the term fenestrate, it means that the leaves will actually split, so that way the splits of the leaves will allow more light to reach the lower leaves. But you can see here, this is an Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue. Beautiful plant. This one is heavily influenced by the amount of light you give it to give you the better variegation. So if you don't give it a lot of variegation, it tends to be more of a subtle green on green variegation versus like a yellowish tone to it. So this is a plant that if you're going to grow them indoors, either put it in a south facing window or put it under a grow light to get the best variegation. But such cute, brand new Live Trends design planters. Love that a lot. And you know, I really wish I can grow a lot of hanging baskets. The thing is, I don't really want to drill holes in my my ceiling, and I did try some of the command strip hooks. Some of them will hold a plant, but it would have to be, you know, a planter that's small. You definitely don't want to take something like this where after you water this ceramic planter of a red marantha, the soil will get super heavy, and I'm just not trying to risk having plants fall, break, and just creating a mess. But another beautiful hanging basket of a red marantha here, and this is another Live Trends design. Like that a lot. And then we also have urban jungle here. I do like urban jungle planters as well, and this one is not a bad price at all, $14.98. You can see right over here, beautiful Epipremnum aureum enjoy pothos. Now this might also pass as like a pearls and jade, just because it does have some of the speckling. But the thing about pearls and jade pothos is the greens are more of like a pastel green versus a dark green like this. Another plant, this pothos is actually more of a slower growing pothos, and it doesn't get larger leaves like a golden pothos, a neon pothos, a marble queen pothos. Either way, pothos plants, again, plant foldies, I want to influence you guys and hope that everybody will add these pothos plants in your plant collection. Like this neon pothos, absolutely stunning, super easy to take care of, super easy to propagate, and they're very cost effective. This is only for $14.98, again, in a nice little planter. Now this plant, again, you know, for most neon colored plants like this, aeroids, philodendron, any of that, the more light you give it, the more yellowish it will be. If you don't provide it enough light, it won't be as neon green or yellow. So just for caution, you know, with the neon pothos, you want to make sure that you are providing it with quite a bit of bright indirect light to really maximize the color of these plants. And that's the thing, plant foldies. I love neon color plants. I also like dark foliage plants, and it's interesting, both the dark foliage plants as well as the neon pothos plants, those do need light. And it's interesting because light in general will really influence the vigor of a plant. You know, bright indirect light, I always say that in all my videos. If you can get your plants bright indirect light, that's all you need. You know, when you think about the morning sun, that is the perfect light to give any plant, and they will really thrive. So if you can emulate that, then your plant is going to do just fine. Now over here we have a trailing golden pothos. Really like the look of it. You know, with pothos plants, the thing about it is, as you allow it to trail, notice how the leaves get smaller and smaller. That's really the case. It's interesting because trailing plants, the leaves will get smaller. But if a plant is allowed to crawl up a pole, it'll get larger and larger leaves. Here is a brand new Live Trend planter, this nice gunmetal finish, or this matte finish of a Philodendron heteroraceum. Another very stylish, modern, contemporary planter. Hands down, I will say that Live Trends has some of the best stylish planters. They have healthy plants. You know, Costa Farms, Live Trends, Urban Jungle, Mason Farms, those are the main nurseries that provide plants to like big box stores and grocery stores, and I appreciate it. But it's exciting to see, you know, with the summertime coming around, that they're still getting new planters and plants, because I was really worried. You know, I didn't do any plant shopping videos last year, so I didn't know what that season, what each season looks like. Definitely will say that like spring, mid-spring is when it really peaks out in terms of the amount of plants, tropical plants you will get in a nursery or a big box store. But I was really concerned that maybe summertime, that's when it substantially slows down. But super excited to find out that that's not necessarily the case. Like right here, Lucky Bamboo, this is another Dracaena sandriana, really nice braided form. I'm not a fan of the glued rock top dressing on it, but otherwise it's a pretty cool looking plant. Most people will get that for feng shui or zen. And then we're going to spin around here, plant foldies, and take a look at even more hanging baskets. That is the thing about Costa Farms. Costa Farms has like very conventional hanging baskets. They may not be as stylish as like Live Trends or Urban Jungle, but they have quite a bit of a selection, and I appreciate that. Now we are going to be looking at some more Live Trends planters. These are for $16.98. We have another Sansevieria, and I believe this is some type of bird's nest Sansevieria. Now with Sansevieria or snake plants, they are low light tolerant, but I'll tell you the best way to grow them is to give them bright indirect light. You want to make sure that you water them when the soil is completely dry, and that's basically it. They're super easy to take care of. And then right over here we have another planter. This one's got some strawberry prints on it. This one is a Haworthia, just a regular Haworthia. This is a succulent. This is a succulent that is a little bit more low light tolerant, and to me succulents and low light don't really make sense to me. It's very I suppose it's very just hard for me to comprehend. So plant foldies, let me know if you agree. I do think Haworthias look super cool. And then we have another Haworthia right over here. This one's got some blueberries. So these are some more Live Trends new planters. This is really the theme of today's plant shopping video, is just to see if they have any new plants or planters, and Live Trends has actually delivered with some really cool looking new planters. Such a fan, and I actually want to know in the comments, plant foldies, if you have Live Trends plants. Let me know what plants you have, what planters you like. Like I said again, that engagement is super important to me. I feel like if you take the time to write comments for me, hit the like button, then you truly appreciate the amount of effort that I put into my plant shopping videos. We all know my story, right? So I go to big box stores after work every single day, film for about an hour. It takes me another hour to put the voiceover, to put the plant captions, and to save the video takes another hour. So it's a good 4 to 5 hours of work to produce a plant video, and I'm actually surprised that I've been able to I suppose maintain some form of consistency. But again, it is all about making sure that I get you that daily content. And for my very loyal plant foldies that are always on the live premiere chats, you know who you are. Thank you so much. And then you can see I did pick up a Calathea dotty, and there's just a bunch of other Urban Jungle planters right here. This one is for $13.98. This is another Philodendron Golden Imperial. So I like the Philodendron Golden Imperial. I love the Philodendron Lemon Lime. All of those neon color plants, all these philodendrons. Just the trick about it is you have to make sure that you are providing them with quite a bit of bright indirect light for them to really maintain the beautiful coloration, the golden color about it. And then you can see we still have several planters here. Now this one isn't as healthy of an Alocasia, but this is an Alocasia lowrider. You can see that one of the leaves are already about to pass. So I would just definitely take that leaf off. That way the plant isn't putting any more energy into a leaf that is about to retire. That one is also for $13.98. With Alocasia, if you're able to grow them outdoors in a shaded area, they will do better than being grown indoors. Trust me. That's really my trick for any plant that I've either chopped up, needs to be rehabbed, or I want to grow in size. I just take them outside. It's that hot weather, that ambient humidity, the ability to be able to water them using a hose that makes the plant care so much easier, and they just reward you with larger leaves and more foliage. Over here, ponytail palm. Very juvenile form, so you can see that there's not even a codex. That's for $13.98. That is a succulent and not a palm. And then over here we got a Ficus elastica ruby. Now you can see that there is just shades of that red. I like the look of that as well. It's super cute, and this is also for $13.98. Now with Ficus elastica, the more light you give it, the better the ficus or rubber tree plant will grow. These plants can potentially grow up to 20 to 30 feet in a tropical environment such as like the Philippines. Obviously in my grow zone that is not going to be the case because we do get cold winters, and that plant is not what you call deciduous, which is basically a plant that hibernates in the winter. And then over here we have some self-watering planters. This is some type of cactus. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it is a little interesting of a shape. These are all of the self-watering planters, and for like succulents and drought tolerant plants like Sansevieria, a self-watering planter is basically super easy. That is, you're not going to be able to kill that plant, especially if you provide it with some bright indirect light. And then you can see tons and tons of more Haworthias right over here. You can see that this is another planter that has like a little cute face on it. I do like the bottom portion of that like red orange paint on it. That's a pretty cool looking plant. And then we also have this Haworthia right over here. So Haworthias are very similar to Sansevieria or snake plants. They are a succulent, and again, they are a succulent that is low light tolerant. You can see that we have Sansevieria again over here. This is a Sansevieria fernwood, another easy Sansevieria to take care of. It's actually a plant I will eventually add to my collection, as well as this braided Sansevieria here. Again, these plants are low light tolerant, but I would suggest putting them in areas that can get them some bright light. Actually, if you grow a plant in a low light tolerant, like a low light area, say like an area that doesn't get a lot of light, you can always take that plant and like bathe it with some bright light. You can put it right next to a window, you know, maybe once or twice a week, so it can get some of that that light that it needs to really thrive. Here is a plant I've been wanting to get for quite a while. I don't know the plant ID off the top of my head. This is for $16.98. I just like the look of it, that green on green variegation. And this plant looks like it would be easy to propagate via water propagations. I'm back at it again. I am propagating some of my plants because I feel like you know, that's one way you can save money on plants, or at least have a budget for your plants. It's just multiplying your plants. You can take plant propagations and like trade them with friends, or just share them in general. And then right here is an uncommon begonia. This is a begonia fernwood, and you can see that the texture of this begonia is interesting. It almost looks like a conifer or some type of pine plant, but this is definitely a begonia. It's rare to really see this type of begonia, especially in a hanging basket. Again, this is for $16.98. I would totally buy this plant if I didn't have trouble growing begonias. You know, begonias for me don't do very well. I have one begonia maculata, and that was given to me for free by my grandmother because she, for some reason, is able to grow any type of plant. Like, she doesn't really struggle with any plants. And over here, teddy bear vine, you know, I've been wanting to buy a teddy bear vine, but, you know, when it comes down to it, this is such an easy to find plant that if you don't buy it, it's not like you won't get restocked. There are certain Costa Farms plants that, like, say if I found an Epipermnum aureum Manjula Pothos hanging basket, I will buy it even though I have a lot of Manjula Pothos. Same thing with this right here. This is a Philodendron heteroecium lemon lime. So mine didn't do as well underneath the chimney, so I may need to buy another one to make it a little bit more full. Beautiful neon color heart-shaped leaf plant. Such an easy to take care of plant. As compared to the neon pothos, this plant is a little less vigorous in growth. The neon pothos is a lot faster in growth. This one tends to be a little bit more finicky and sensitive. And then over here is a Hedera helix, or what you call a Hedera helix, English ivy. This one doesn't actually have an English ivy name. I do like the texture of this English ivy. And plant foldies, let me know if any of you guys are actually growing English ivies. I want to be able to grow these indoors, but I'm telling you, out of all the indoor tropical plants that we look at on a daily basis, I will say English ivy is the most challenging plant to prevent spider mites, unless you're literally spraying that plant maybe once a week with neem oil or some type of preventative. Now, if you have high humidity like a cabinet, maybe the English ivy won't get the spider mites, but it literally is a spider mite prone plant. It is a plant that is basically inviting pests to go into your plant. So I would just put caution whenever growing English ivies. I even joke around with some of the local plant nurseries that I shop at. I always tell them, hey, if you're going to bring English ivies, you already know you have to have some plant preventatives so that way you don't get spider mites. Over here, we have another live trends planter. This is a Pachira aquatica, and this is an absolutely stunning looking Pachira aquatica. Definitely a fan of that. This one is also, I believe, for like $16.98. I like the look of this Pachira aquatica. I'm not a fan of the top dressing of the like fake moss. That's the only critique I have when it comes to live trends, is they should just get rid of the live moss and either put like orchid bark, very thin orchid bark, or fine orchid bark as like top dressing. I just don't really like the I guess the fake sphagnum moss, or just the moss in general, because when you think about it, if you water the soil, it'll just maintain more moisture and maintain it to where it could potentially root rot the plant. And you can see here we got some bromeliad. So this is a kokedama type bromeliad, so it's a way of growing a plant in a sphagnum moss substrate. This one is for $18.98. Gotta love some bromeliads. It used to be a plant I wasn't such a fan of, but now I have really grown to like the vibrant colors. And then over here we've got some type of philodendron. This is an urban jungle plant, $13.98. I'm not 100% sure what type of philodendron this is, so if you have any idea, please leave a timestamp with a comment. Plant foldies, I've actually learned so much from you all in terms of just the insights that you guys give me, and I will continue to share my love for plants. I will also celebrate the wins that we all have. And, you know, I just love the community we have at GrowFold. And it's so exciting because we're only about 2.5 to 3 weeks away from PlantCon 2024. I also am excited to release my GrowFold t-shirts. It's just a simple design with my logo and also my QR code, so you can help attract more people publicly to the to the YouTube channel. I haven't set a full price yet on how much it would cost, but for my plant foldies that I'm meeting up at PlantCon, if you want to purchase one, I can bring you the t-shirt. I will be modeling it alongside with Plant Foldy Luke and Hi JR Sings Isaac will be wearing that, so that will be a fast way to find us. Now, in terms of the meetup at PlantCon, I'm thinking that we utilize PETA's Planters booth as a central location to meet up. I'll probably spend some time over there just because I feel comfortable being around PETA's Planters. Such an awesome small business plant shop. So if you haven't already, please make sure you are watching all of the PETA's Planters videos. I really want us to bring a lot of foot traffic to their small business. They are an amazing couple. David and Peter are so cool. I also am a fan of this Zenzi ZZ plant. Really like the look of that. I'm actually tempted to purchase that. And then right over here, we have another Pachira aquatica, but this is only for $15.98. Now, this is the Costa Farms braided form as well. I am looking for a variegated Pachira aquatica. The thing about a variegated Pachira aquatica is it is grafted onto a rootstock, so it's just a little bit slower to grow. It is a plant that is a little bit more finicky, but if you look at my Philippines vacation plant videos, you'll see that they had some really large sizes as well. And so, you know, being a fan of Pachira aquatica, it's something that I feel like everybody should add to their collection as well. It's not a hard to grow plant. It is spider mite prone, so you just have to make sure you stay on top of your plant pest. And then here again is another brand new live trench planter hanging basket. This is the black version. That's super cute. Epipremnum aureum golden pothos as well. This is for $16.98. These are super cute. Now, plant foldies, I'm curious if you like live trends planters. If you do, could you leave in the comments like what you like about live trends? For me, I think it's the modern vibe that they produce with the actual planters. I really like the look of that. And then we also have another live trends planter. I like this Epipremnum aureum enjoy pothos is such a beautiful pothos. Even though it is a slower growing pothos, it's just the variegation is stunning. I will say this pothos is not nearly as drought tolerant as, say, a golden pothos, a neon pothos, or a marble queen, so you'll want to make sure that you're consistently watering that. Pothos, And then you can see here, now these were not as new, but look at these Live Trends hanging baskets. What I like about this one is look at how beautiful and modern that planter is. Even the color is really nice. And you can see that the plants that Live Trends has are actually super healthy, super lush. This one is a golden pothos. I wouldn't say that this is the best variegation of a golden pothos, but it's still a pretty nice looking plant. I love that natural shine that the pothos plant has, and just that modern texture. Now this is a brand new self-watering planter, $24.98. What a cool looking philodendron moonlight, and this is like a 6-inch self-watering planter. You don't really see that often, and look at how healthy this plant is. I would totally buy this, but you know, with PlantCon 2024 coming around the corner, I'm really being mindful about the amount of money I spend on plants. I'm really trying to organize my plant collection. I'm really just trying to make sure I have a budget. But this beautiful philodendron moonlight could be an exception. I love the yellow planter, and the fact that it's self-watering is awesome. So if you haven't seen the brand new Live Trends self-watering planters, definitely go to a Lowe's, because it looks like Live Trends has released some really cool planters. And then right over here we have a reverted philodendron Birkin. So you can see this is mostly green. This is a Costa Farms plant for $15.98. Now with philodendron Birkin, I would say the more light you provide it, the better variegation you'll get out of it. And then we also have these. So these are more mixed planters by Costa Farms. And I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's a nice concept, but you have to really be mindful about what plants are paired. So you can see we have a Chiflera, Moondrop. We've got a a dark mystery Palea. We've got some type of Fittonia, and we have a palm and a Dracaena Florida Beauty. So you've got about 5 plants here. These are for $24.97 for all of these plants in a planter. The thing about it is these planters though would need to have very interesting conditions for them to grow. Like some of them need a lot of light, some of them do not want a lot of light. So you have to really find a balance for them. I would say if you are trying to figure that out, if you are at least able to give these planters bright indirect light, you should be okay. Maybe for the Croton that might struggle, because Crotons again need a lot of light. They would actually prefer to be outside in full sun. That's the thing about Crotons. It's a love-or-hate plant. And I actually have fallen in love with them multiple times when I was in the Philippines, because Crotons can actually become full-blown colorful trees. But you can see we do have several mixed planters here. So plant foldies, let me know if you've actually bought a mixed planter from Costa Farms. How did that work out for you? How did you maintain the care tips? Because you can see here, this one has like a Marble Queen Pothos. You can see the price right over here, Marble Queen Pothos. We've got some type of purple waffle plant, another palm, and some other plants around here. So you get several plants. Like the Crotons is what really bothers me, because I already know that one particular plant is going to require a lot of light, more so than say the Pothos plant that's in this planter, for instance. And I'm also not as big of a fan of like the fake moss that's on there. I would have just kind of skipped it. But I've noticed that even like grocery stores, whenever they make like gift baskets of plants, they tend to put that type of like moss texture. I feel like they should just skip it. That's just my opinion. That's my aesthetic. I mean, for some people it might work, but you can see Live Trends, and Urban Jungle, they just have some really cool planters. Like this one again is an Urban Jungle plant. Look at how beautiful this Enjoy Pothos is. And you can see that Enjoy Pothos, even if you don't provide it with nearly as much light, it's not going to necessarily revert back to green. It would just be slower growing. And you can see here, this one is also another new Live Trends design planter. These hanging baskets are stunning. Again, I wish I was able to grow a lot of hanging baskets, but that would really require me to drill into my ceiling. And I don't really want to do that. Even though I do own a home, I just don't want to put as much permanent cosmetics damage into my ceilings. This one is an Emerald Pothos, which is basically an almost reverted lemon meringue pothos. It's got more of like a subtle green on green variegation. And then over here, Bird's Nest Fern. This one is for $15.97. Costa Farm self-watering planter. bird's nest fern. I will say they are stunning. They are fabulous. They can get massive. They can get diameters of like 4 to 5 feet in diameter or radius. That's super cool. And then I don't really see juvenile forms of Monstera deliciosa, but can we say how cute these are? I wish that the juvenile heart-shaped leaves of Monstera deliciosa could just be a plant. Part of me wishes they wouldn't mature and fenestrate, because look at how cute these heart-shaped leaves are. I do like the natural shine of a Monstera deliciosa, and that again is only for $13.98, urban jungle plant. But I always find joy looking at all of these beautiful plants, especially at this Lowe's. I will say this Lowe's has never really disappointed me in the amount of plants that they have available. And that's the thing. Once you find certain big box stores, you can kind of tell the priorities of the big box store, or what the passion is behind plants. Again, you know, big box stores, that's not their number one priority, is plant care. I just like seeing that these plants are well kept, because it's less plants going into the trash and more plants being sold and being brought into good homes. Like this right here, I love this Photonia. This is another Photonia that has some really cool looking stripes. This is like one that I would add. It's just that with Photonias, they are heavy drinkers. They need a lot of water, and I'm not a person that waters my plants consistently. And I do find this Belus ficus such a beautiful variegated creeping ficus plant. Now with all ficus, whenever you hear ficus, you just have to assume that ficus need bright light in order for them to really thrive. This one especially, since it has some variegation. I do like the fact that this is a nice full hanging basket. This one is for $16.98. I do prefer the smaller hanging baskets versus the 6-inch hanging baskets by Costa Farms. And that's the thing about Costa Farms, so many diverse hanging baskets. Sometimes you'll find some really cool gems. Like this one right here is another Belus ficus, but I like this Especia pink panther. So this is similar to the African violet in terms of the family, but look at how beautiful the leaves are. Their texture, they're metallic looking. They are easy to propagate because you can see that they are starting to trail, but this has some beautiful pink blooms. And you know, I like plants, tropical plants. I don't really look for the blooms, but this one is a profuse bloomer as well, and it's easy to propagate. Now this is another plant that I would love to add to my collection once I get things situated. And there is an example of an Epipremnum marble queen pothos that's dehydrated. So notice that the leaves are a little bit more just sunken in. And this one also doesn't look like it's got nearly as much light. It's got more of a green tone to it versus that bright cream variegation. So this plant needs a little bit more love. And then over as I pass away, you can see that we have a pretty nice set of an end cap, which is, you know, a mixture of Live Trends planters. You can see that Live Trends also sells these air plants right here. These are for $3.98. If you want to just got an air plant to just kind of stick in some type of planter or just to put on your desk, those are really nice. And you can see there's different types of varieties. Now with air plants, again, you want to keep them more on the dry side. If you're going to water them, you want to just submerge them in water and let them dry. That's really it. Now this is so cool. I need to get this particular alocasia, and this alocasia has quite a bit of little babies that have sprouted out from corms. This is, I think, these Alocasia sunata. This is an alocasia that is native or endemic to the Philippines. I've actually seen this growing out in the wild. Really thought that was interesting. And again, that's the reason why I plant Foldies. I was very passionate about showcasing my home country. My family is originally from the Philippines, just to show you that all of these big box stores, these plants came from like a Southeast Asian country, an African country, a Caribbean country, a South American country, Central American country, somewhere where there was a tropical environment, and an African country. So very interesting to see where all of these plants are sourced. I will say, whenever you're buying plants, especially from online, find a place that has a sustainable source. We don't want to buy from a source that poaches plants. So just be really weary about that. And that's the reason why, like, whenever you're at a big box store, you know that these nurseries have been vetted out to make sure that they have sustainable practices when it comes to their plants. Now, this is another beautiful new Live Trends planter. Really like that that light blue ceramic planter. I just wish it was more of a matte finish. And then over here, another Live Trends Alocasia. Now, Urban Jungle Alocasia. Urban Jungle Alocasias, there are some really cool finds. Some people have actually found sport variegated Alocasia. I have yet to find that, and honestly, I have yet to find like a variegated Monstera sport. As many times as I've been at a big box store, I might hit the jackpot someday, but you know, it is a numbers game. Eventually, I'm sure I'll run into it. And then as I walk over here, plant foliage, take a look at all of these hanging baskets and all of these exotic angel planters. You know, these are the 3-inch and 5-inch planters. So we're going to take a look at some more. This one is another Hydra Helix. This one is the mini Adam Hedera Helix. Like this a lot. This one is for $5.98. You know, it's very tempting to buy exotic angel starter plants by Costa Farms because they have so many varieties. Like this one is one of my favorites. This is a Dracaena Florida Beauty, and I have sent about 3 of these to Plant Heaven, but I recently purchased one just because, I don't know, I love that galaxy like cosmic speckling it has. It's just such a cool looking plant, and I've seen this at a conservatory where it does get pretty large, so that's just a plant I love. And then here is another Syngonium Berry Illusion. So I'm getting back into Syngoniums, and I did neglect a lot of my Syngoniums to where some of them got leggy, and so I've started to chop them up, propagate them. I've also brought some of my Syngoniums outdoors, and I'm telling you, that is the best way to get them to rehab and become full again. Croton Banana, I like this one as well. I just like the narrow leaves of it. And then to get crotons to give you the best coloration, you want to just give them full sun. That's all I'm going to say is full sun, and they will be happy. Crotons are not tolerant of cold conditions. So if you ever have like a cold front or anything like that, be prepared for your croton to drop all of its leaves. It behaves more like a ficus plant, like a ficus larata or a fiddle fig leaf tree. And then I'm going to just show you a couple more of these plants. So plant foldies, take a look. This is a maidenhair fern, and maidenhair fern is one of the most finicky plants. I have yet to really find anybody who can successfully grow this in ambient humidity. Like this one really needs a lot of humidity. This is a plant that would prefer to be more in a terrarium setting, but you know, I could be wrong. Some people might be able to successfully grow them. I just haven't been able to. So I might not be the exception for that, but there are people that are able to successfully grow those. And then this is another Hydra Helix, or what you call a wonderful ivy. It is wonderful. I love like the leaf shape. It's a little bit more round, and you know, I love English ivy. For those that have been following me, you know, I mispronounce Hedera Helix as Hydra Helix. It's like a plant foldy inside joke. Y'all like to go count how many times I've done that. That will be a t-shirt I will create at some point in the future, so we can do that. Now, as far as some folks' opinions, they just absolutely find it cringy when I say Hydra Helix, but it's here to stay. Just because I would say the majority of plant foldies kind of find it funny, and it just gives my plant, shopping videos a little bit more of a unique quirk, if I may say so myself. Now, plant foldies, you can see I am going through some of these plants. You can see this one is another smaller Bellus ficus here. If I were to buy a Bellus ficus, I would probably want to buy one of those like hanging baskets, the ones for $16.98. I just feel like this plant needs to be a little bit more bushy and full. And then right over here is a Balferiana Aralia, one of my favorite Aralias. And when I say that these plants can grow up to 5 feet tall and get woody, that is really the mature specimen, and I saw those all over the Philippines. Same thing with this Croton right here. This is a Croton Luna, and I love that red and orange and yellow fiery tone about it. Such a beautiful plant, and I think that that's what attracts me to Crotons in general, is how vibrant the leaves are. Perhaps there's a reason why I also love like colorful foliage leaves like coleus plants. Same thing with begonias, but I know better when it comes to like Rex begonias. Like this is beautiful, but I can't take it home. This is one of those plants that's tempting, but I can't take it home. Now, plant foldies, let me know if you actually grow begonia successfully, or if this is another one of those plants that it's better just to admire at a big box store, or maybe somebody who has like a really cool terrarium. But with Rex begonias, I just haven't had the best luck with them. Now this is a Dracaena marginata bicolor. This was another plant that I think has some beautiful texture to it. So if you want more of like a thinner type texture plant, that's one that will become fairly large in in no time. And then obviously, I mean, plant foldies, do you like this Dracaena Florida Beauty? The only thing is it's not low light tolerant, and it does not like to dry out. It is actually the opposite of most Dracaenas. That one needs to be watered frequently. Same thing with this Snow White waffle plant. Like, I love everything about the texture of the leaves, the pink, the purple, the lavender, the green. Everything is so beautiful, but that is a plant that's really meant to be for somebody who likes to water or overwater or a terrarium. But I just love this. Like, this is a really cool plant. Like, I don't know what it is about certain plants that attract me, but look at this. That is such a beautiful variegated plant. This one is also influenced by the amount of light it's given. So if you give it more bright light, it definitely will perform better for you. So I don't know, plant foldies, if you made it this far into the video and you haven't already, please hit that like button. I'm asking if you guys could just help me out with the like button, as well as leaving those comments. It really does validate that my efforts to give you guys some quality plant shopping videos on a daily basis. That's just one way you guys can show appreciation and reward me with that engagement. That's one thing too, I will say, plant foldies, the amount of people that I am running into as I do my big box store plant shopping videos. Like, I was at Plant Keeper doing my filming with Janae and Steven, and the fact that we ran into a subscriber that subscribed to all of our channels. Ronald, you know who you are. You are awesome. That totally made my day. So if for some reason you run into me out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, feel free to say hello. I love engaging with you guys, and in just the diversity of the subscriber or viewer for this channel. There is no age limit. Everybody is welcome. The only thing I ask is, if you're going to be a plant foldie, you have to, number one, love plants, number two, be kind, and number three, at least tolerate Hydra helix, and that's it. But you can see over here we have some more rabbit's foot fern, and I wanted to pull these out. These are $7.98. I was just tempted to buy this Croton, which I don't need to, but look at how it looks like a fire. It looks like a flame. It looks super cool. It doesn't even look like a real plant. But again, Crotons are beautiful, but they are very fussy plants, at least for the environment that we provide. Now, if we're able to give them like high humidity, warm environments, oh, they grow like weeds. And when I say they grow like weeds, they grow so easily in a natural environment. Like, the Philippines had so many beautiful Crotons. They were just everywhere with very little plant care. And then over here is a lemon lime surprise, $7.98. Dracaena, another plant that I would recommend. You know, these are plants, Dracaenas in general, especially these versions, tend to be they're just not as popular with people. And that's the thing with certain plants. If you watch my videos often, I do talk about plants and just trying to influence people to just look outside of the box and really just appreciate certain plants, even if they're common, what you would call basic plants. Now, this one right here is another Hydra helix. And this English ivy is a stunning looking one. Look at how it's got more of that silver foliage on it. This one is for $20.98. That is another beautiful plant that if only, and I say if only, we can grow these English ivies successfully indoors and not have spider mites, I think there would be a bigger following for them. Now, growing them outdoors, they are perfectly fine growing outdoors. It's something about growing plants outdoors that just makes it easier. And I am a big advocate when it comes to plants just growing outdoors. It's one that I think that everybody should consider, especially when you're trying to size up plants or rehab plants. Like, I've literally chopped up a lot of my Syngoniums back down to just the base, and I'm hoping that by chopping them down, they'll actually put on some more some more new foliage. So we're gonna see what that looks like. I am hoping that that is just really what it's gonna look like in terms of the plant sizing of these plants. And then over here we have another Hydra helix. This one is also for $5.98. Again, beautiful English ivy. It is another plant that I just really want to grow. Like, I don't know if you've ever had plants where you just am a fan of a certain plant, but you know that they just become finicky. That is one of them. It's the same thing with this purple passion or purple waffle plant. Beautiful plant as well. It's another plant that is just very challenging for me to grow because I am a person that doesn't really water my plants as frequently as I need to. And that is a problem. You know, it's a problem that I understand. I have gotten better at it. It is something that I struggle with, and it is a little bit embarrassing to kind of talk about that in a sense that most people, you get plants because you know that their watering conditions is what you need to provide in order for them to successfully grow. But for some reason, I have just struggled with it. And I think a lot of it has to do with my very busy lifestyle. My job is super demanding. It's gotten super demanding actually in the last week or so. And so it's taken away some of my time. And that's why I always urge anybody who grows plants to really assess and evaluate, your growing conditions, whether you have the right lighting, but more importantly, whether you have the right amount of time that you can invest in plant care. And that's the reason why if you are going to start growing plants, find plants that are a little bit more easy to take care of. Like this one right here, another Hydra Helix. I couldn't grow that because this particular plant does require a lot of pest control. Like you have to really stay on top of spraying it with neem oil. But this plant right here, Aglaonema Silver Bay, beautiful plant, huge one actually. And I'm actually tempted to purchase that because I am kind of going back down to the basics of certain plants that don't require nearly as much attention. I think that that's going to bring me a little bit more joy versus a little bit more of the disappointment that I've actually given myself by seeing plants deteriorate in the health. And a lot of that is really having to do with the plant care that I've given. I feel like I haven't been the best plant parent. And I think it's because, number one, I inundated myself with more plants that I could possibly handle. And then number two, some of the plant selections I've taken into my plant collection has just a little bit more needy. And that's the reason why certain plants are just not going to make it into my plant collection. I'm really looking at options where the environment that I have my plants in, especially the ones that you find at big box stores, is going to be similar to maybe the tropical environments that they come from. Like I would love to be able to go Dieffenbachia. Like look at how stunning the variegation is on Dieffenbachia. In the Philippines, they were just growing so awesome. But when you grow them indoors, for instance, they just don't do well indoors. And it's, I think the lighting conditions, the humidity, something about it just doesn't let these plants thrive. Like even alocasias, like this is a beautiful alocasia. I believe this is an Alocasia Regal Shields. This isn't a self-watering planter by Live Trends. And I do like that Live Trends use more of like that orchid bark as a top dressing. And then right over here, we have a beautiful Xanthosoma. Xanthosoma is like a caladium / alocasia, trending tropicals plant. This one is for $19.89 by Costa Farms. And there are some more new releases of Costa Farms plants that I am looking out for. They have like the Epiprimnum, Arium, Shangri-La. That was more of another plant that I want to add to my collection. There's just some interesting looking plants, but it just really depends on, I guess, when I get lucky. There are some plants that, you'll walk in and you'll see all of these beautiful trending tropicals of like Scindapsus, Trubii Moonlight. This is a plant that I need to get in my plant collection because it is an easy to care for plant. It is an extremely slow growing Scindapsus, and it does require a little bit more light for it to really hold on to that silver foliage. They also have a dark form of it that I would like. And here's another Live Trends planter for $22.98. This is an Aglaonema, either Golden Bay or White Rain, but it is another beautiful Aglaonema. I swear, plant folies, Aglaonemas are so underrated, and I don't understand why there isn't as big of a push for people to collect Aglaonemas. Like here's another Aglaonema right here. For instance, look at how beautiful that foliage is. The only drawback about Aglaonema that I don't like is the fact that they are extremely slow at growing. I like plants that show you how fast they can grow because a more vigorous grower just means that you can see updates on a daily basis. And maybe that's the reason why I like Pothos plants. Like this one is an Epiprimnum a pothos, like silver streak pothos right here. This is an Epipremnum alplissimum silver streak pothos. Beautiful plant. So thankful to Gloria, another plant foldie that I met while I was out filming at Callaway's, actually off of El Dorado Road in McKinney, Texas. That was just such a cool meeting. And that's the thing, plant foldies. For some reason, people say that they've never seen my face, but my voice is very recognizable. So I don't know, that's just really interesting. And I really hope that I continue to meet up with you guys. It does bring me so much joy to just create this plant content. And so I hope that you guys will continue to engage with me. I hope that we continue to pour many comments in the comment section. If you made it this far into the video and you still haven't hit the like button, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Now, this is another one I wanted to show you. So these are the new self-watering planters that Live Trends has provided. Like, look at how cool this is. Love that modern twist to it. And I believe these are what, $16.98. This is a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta. Super easy plant to take care of. And then right over here, we have a beautiful Calathea rospicta. Really love that as well. I love the self-watering planter. I might actually break down and buy this one just because I love the planter and I love that particular purple Calathea. It's just that every single Calathea I've owned has really, I've just struck out, and it's just really sad that I've done that. It just hasn't worked well for me, even growing them hydroponically. And then over here we have a Philodendron Moonlight in a self-watering planter. Live Trends has some brand new plants for summer 2024. I love the new releases that they have. Huge fan of it. It actually inspires me to check out a couple of grocery stores, like Sprouts grocery store, for instance. I might do that either today or tomorrow to see if they have any new planters. But look at this one, that lavender purple. It reminds me of this Filipino dish that we use for desserts, like ube. It has that ube purple look about it. Really like that. And that is another beautiful Ficus elastica ruby that we have here. This needs a little bit more light to really get that red out of it. But ficus plants, and just look at how beautiful that that neon green yellow tone is on this particular philodendron. What a cool looking plant. I like the new look about these easy to care for planters. It's a self-watering system, and check this out for $22.98. This is another anthurium. This one, yep, by Live Trends. And I do like that that planter, even though it has some texture, it just has like a really modern shape to it that I appreciate. Same thing with this Ficus elastica right over here. Really like the look of that. It's got that texture, but it's also got that modern lip on the planters. So plant foldies, I'm just curious what your plant aesthetics are. What do you kind of gravitate to? I would really like to know in the comments section. Just because I want to get to know more of you and what you guys like. I think it's important. And then over here, right here is a Dracaena of some sort. I'm not 100% sure. What a pretty looking Dracaena though. I really love that bright white streak that it has. And even the planter is just super sleek. That's something I like. And, you know, I've already been gifted by some people some more plants. So thanks to those that have actually given me some plants for my birthday. You know, turning 42, it's exciting, it's scary, but you know, I'll tell you the biggest gift that I really want, and that's literally to have continued health, just be a healthy person, to be able to just share my passions, whether it's, you know, YouTube plant shopping videos, and just to be able to impact people positively in a, you know, on a daily basis. That's really all the gifts I really need. And then obviously for you guys, just your continued support. To see you guys come out with comments, to hit the like button, to share my videos, to engage with me on Instagram. It is all a huge plus for me. And then this is another huge plus for me. Look at how beautiful Alocasia Pink Dragon in a self-watering planter. And this is stunning. And this is actually really tempting. I really need to buy this Calathea dotty, but I know that if I buy this Calathea dotty, it's going to be a situation where it's just going to disappoint me. Like Calatheas are the biggest they're temptress. They literally will tempt you to purchase them, and then they will just disappoint you. Maybe I'm a little bit more biased, but that's really the experience I've had with Calathea. So I don't know, plant foldies, let me know what you think, if that's the same situation for you. I just know that, you know, certain plants, it's just going to be a challenge to actually put them in your plant collection. There are some plants that I'm just not about. Some people will even say that about like Alocasias. Alocasias for me, if you grow them outdoors, they will do fine, but it's just a matter of like which ones you put into your plant collection. Calatheas, I'm telling you, it's one of the most challenging plants. Like this one right here, for instance, is Alocasia Silver Dragon, beautiful plant. Bought one. I ended up not neglecting it to the point where I didn't water it, but I'm actually curious, could you regrow an Alocasia if it just dies back down to the corm? Plant Foliage, leave it in the comments, because I'm thinking of taking all of my dead Alocasias that have just dried out completely, putting them outside. It is super humid and super hot. Maybe they might resprout. So I'm going to try that actually and see if that happens. But what a beautiful Alocasia. And I'm just so thankful again that, you know, Costa Farms, they get some flack about some of their plants, but truthfully, if Costa Farms didn't exist in terms of just the kind of plants that they have, I don't think we would be as accessible to some of these exotic plants. So I have to thank Costa Farms. You know, it was really exciting that Costa Farms actually featured one of my shorts reels and put them on their Instagram as well as their YouTube. Osmocote, I wanted to point that out. Good slow release fertilizer. Definitely add that to your collection for your plants if you want to give them some extra nutrients. And you know, even though this isn't a perfect xanthosoma, I do find xanthosomas really interesting. Same thing with Ficus lyrata, same thing with this beautiful Aglaonema silver bay. Now this one is for $44.98. I do think that this is slightly pricey, but for the size, I understand. Now, one place that I would buy my Alocasias for this size would have to be Plant Keeper Incorporated. Garen, Rachel, and John have some amazing plants. I'm so excited to be able to feature our collab video on my birthday this Wednesday. And if you haven't already, check out my playlist. I have several playlists for a lot of my local plant shops. Definitely check that out, and also consider taking care of some of these Dracaenas. So we have a cane Dracaena. This is a Dracaena Massangiana, and then we have another Dracaena that's a little bit more of like a clumping style. And you can't go to a big box store and not see Phalaenopsis orchid. So my variegated Phalaenopsis orchid is not in bloom right now, so I cut off the dead blooms. It is pushing out a new leaf, so I'm super excited with that. So we'll see what that looks like, but Phalaenopsis orchids, that's something I definitely want to add to my plant collection. I do want to get one of those like living wall pouches to where I can actually grow some of the plants vertically. We'll see how that looks. And then we can see that bromeliads again. I'm just panning over some of the colorful blooming plants. Like bromeliads, definitely a plus. If you want a plant that has some interesting, very vibrant colors, bromeliads would be an answer to it, and there's so many different kinds to pick from. We also have some pink syngoniums right over here, more Phalaenopsis orchids. And, you know, with Phalaenopsis orchids, they prefer to be more on the drier side. Overwatering is what will kill your Phalaenopsis orchids, so you want to make sure that you keep them more so on the drier side. They get a lot of their water actually from the ambient humidity from the air, so definitely underwater Phalaenopsis orchids. They definitely need to grow in an orchid bark. You don't want to put them in soil. That will definitely kill it. They need fast draining soil because they are epiphytes. But as you can see here, Plant Foliage, I think that this is an awesome big box store, Lowe's, shopping in the summertime, and I'm going to continue to do big box store plant shopping videos in the summer, heading into the fall and winter. I'm just curious to see all of the seasons, what plants they have available for sure. Super excited about PlantCon. So like big box store plant shopping videos are on the way, but trust and behold, look at this oleander in bloom. Somebody just changed their mind on it. There will be so many hours of PlantCon. So if you haven't bought your PlantCon tickets in Dallas, please do. I want to meet up with you guys. Send me a message on Instagram. I definitely want to see a head count of how many Plant Foliage that will be there. But as always, Plant Foliage, I'm just going to pan up a couple of more so we see some more Phalaenopsis orchids. I am happy that you guys continue to tune into my videos. If you have any questions about plant care, I've seen some people actually send me direct messages on Instagram. Ask me questions, I'll answer them. And I am considering doing a live stream at some point where maybe we can have some questions that you guys can answer in the chat. We'll see what that looks like. But the good news is my plants are starting to get organized. My home is starting to get organized to the point where I can do a plant tour. So definitely stay tuned for that. for now, just keep watching my videos. I hope you watch through all of them. And as always, if you made it this far and still haven't hit the like button, please make sure you are hitting that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. It shows your support. And as always, please make sure you subscribe to my channel at Grow Folds. This is Richie. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.